You should see the other guy. I got in a fight with a stand mixer and the stand mixer won, and that's all you need to know. Hello everybody, my name is Vaughn. I am a video producer for NYT Cooking, and today I'm going to be making chewy peppermint brownie cookies. My family is a very big sweets family, so during the holidays we are constantly baking, and I always make peppermint brownies that are just so delicious. I, cover them in crushed peppermint and white chocolate, and the crowd truly goes wild, right? And so when I was thinking about a cookie recipe for this year, I was thinking, what if I took that idea of the brownie and I turned it into a cookie itself? Gotta give props to my friend Jesse, who is like the cookie master. And I had a version of his brownie cookies and I was like, wow, why aren't we making more brownie cookies? The best part of a brownie, I think, correct me if I'm wrong, internet, but it's the corner piece of the brownie, right? These cookies really are like the best part of every single brownie. They're simply so good. I'm going to chop some things. Any brownie recipe worth its salt has real chocolate in it. I always prefer using whole bar rather than chocolate chips. Chocolate chips just tend to have like a binding agent around the outside of them, and that binding agent kind of prevents this silky smooth chocolatiness from happening. There's multiple textures going on with the chewiness of the outside, the soft kind of pillowy interior. What's another texture that I could get in there? And I was like, topping it with chopped peppermint would get that little crunch factor, and it just creates this like very dynamic type of cookie. Cutting it is a messy venture. I'm just gonna say, it's gonna shatter, it's gonna go everywhere. If you really hate your neighbors, just put these in a bag and really crush them. You know what? Our neighbors are loud. Let's get loud. I don't want a powder. I want something that will be textural, but not too fine. My family uses a horrifying amount of butter during the holidays. When butter is on sale, my grandma would make us go buy like at least 10 pounds of it and just keep it in the freezer. I'm not even kidding. Half of the cocoa powder goes into the chopped chocolate and half of it goes with the dry ingredients. The hot butter kind of blooms this chocolate, and it really, really creates this even more depth of chocolatiness. You will taste these cookies and you'll be like, this is a chocolate cookie. The dark brown sugar is gonna really bring out the chocolatey flavor. I think that molassesiness also lends this moisture that's gonna be really kind of important. The white sugar also kind of helps with that like beautiful shine that comes on top. Once you start to see some of those like chunks of the dark brown sugar dissipate a little bit more, then you can crank it up. You can do this with a hand mixer for sure. If you don't have a stand mixer, your arm might get a little tired, you might switch it out a little bit. And the reason why you mix them for so long is because there's no chemical leavener, there's no baking powder, there's no baking soda in this recipe. All of the lift from your cookies really comes from the whipping of the eggs and the sugar. And that's really what creates this kind of like beautiful texture that you get at the end. I try not to be too finicky in recipes, but this really is like an important step. A little scrape down, and then I'm going to add salt, because I forgot to do that, but it's fine. And some peppermint extract. This recipe uses 1.5 teaspoons, and that might be shocking to some people, but it's fine. It's a peppermint cookie, you want to taste the peppermint. And now is the time to stir our chocolate. With the mixer running, I'm going to stream this in. Now I'm gonna give the bowl a nice good scrape down. We wanna make sure that everything is really well incorporated. I don't wanna overmix these by any means, so I'm gonna finish incorporating this like residual flour that's on the side by hand. I have a 1/4 cup cookie scoop. If you don't have a 1/4 cup cookie scoop, you can very easily just use a 1/4 cup measure and it should be fine. I feel like when I tested these, I was at home in my kitchen is really hot, and so sometimes the batter can be like a little bit runnier than that, but these are scooping out pretty nicely. So these bake for about 10 minutes, you take them out, you kind of whack them on the counter, then you do get more of that craggly exterior, and also it densifies the brownie a little bit more. And then you put them back in there just for another couple minutes, and that will allow, obviously, the cookies to finish baking, but the peppermint to kind of set on the top of the cookie themselves, so that when you're eating them, it doesn't like go flying everywhere. You can see that the peppermint started to melt a little bit, but it didn't completely flood the top of the cookie. I'm gonna let them set up a little bit on the baking sheet, and then to a cooling rack to set up completely to room temperature. Wow, what a beautiful plate of cookies. First of all, she's hefty. This is a cookie not for the faint of heart. Look at how like fudgy those are on the inside. They're like delightful. Yeah, this is it. You have the best of every world in here. You've got like the edge of the brownie, but then you have that really soft interior that those weird middle brownie people love. They're just so chocolatey, they're so rich, and the peppermint's there to like complement the chocolate. So I just hope that everybody tries them. They're truly so delicious, and they couldn't be easier to make. I think that they'll be a crowd pleaser at any holiday party, in any gift basket, in any cookie box. So just try them and let me know what you think. Happy baking, happy holidays, and I'm gonna see myself out with this whole entire plate of cookies.